Hey guys, KRX50 here with another review. This time I'll be reviewing the Deluxe Game Scope from Kamen X-Aid. This is the special stethoscope used by the doctors who transform into riders in order to scan and detect the Bugster virus. So, let's get started. So, starting off, let's take a look at the Game Scope on its own. So we'll start off with the most interesting part, which is the actual scanner up here. This is what has the most details to it and is quite interesting. Starting off with the front, you can see it says Digital Stethoscope. And then on top it has basically what's equivalent to a joystick on a game controller. You got a button on the side, which is the scanning button as indicated by the label. And you also have buttons for data, save, and load. Though only this one is an actual button. You have the power switch here, which is labeled right there. And you have the actual scanner here, which is done up in black, red, and green. From there we have a nice little neck cable that is connected right here. And this is something you actually have to assemble out of the box. But the two pieces just snap together very easily. Then you have the actual part that, is what goes into the doctor's ears. And so you can see it's done with some different colored plastics and a bit of paint. You can see these little grooves here which allow the ear cables to expand and retract. And these will actually fit in your ears, though they won't go all the way into your eardrums, so it won't feel uncomfortable. Then on the back you can see there was a little bit of a shortcut here where the back side is hollow, but it's not too bad. And one good thing to note is that this can be worn around your neck by the cable here and won't fall off, similar to a normal stethoscope. So, next we can get to the functionality, which we need to start by turning on the power switch, which I did accidentally, so let's do that again. You get the activation sound, which is actually the call reception sound, since this is also something of a communication device, as people can send in emergency calls about Bugster viruses, and they'll be received by the game scopes. So the first feature is the scanning function, which is activated by pressing and holding the scanning button. Now, as you can see, it actually creates a projection from the light down here. I'm going to try grabbing something with which I can better show you what's being projected. So just get a white piece of paper. And if we get it a little bit closer to the camera, you can see that it's got a couple of cardiograms or electrocardiograms, as well as a flame symbol in the middle to indicate the Bugster virus. And this can be projected on various surfaces, and this is basically used to kind of simulate the way that the Bugster viruses are scanned for, though in the show it's more of a hologram projection, but this is still a pretty good job. The second feature is a set of character voices, where you can get different character phrases from 6 characters from the show. And first, you have the character selection button, which is the data button, so start with the first one, which is Emu Hojo, who transforms into Kamen X-Aid. Then you can get the phrases by pressing down on the control stick on top. And that's one of his big catchphrases, which is, I will change the patient's fate.
対に無駄にしない。俺の運命は俺が変える。
Then that one is I will change my fate.
大丈夫。先生と一緒にボスキャラを倒そう。
And at the end it loops back to the beginning. So we'll move on to the next character.
私は狩りのアスナ。
And that one is Asuna Karino, who is the secret identity of Poppy People Popo.
電脳救命センター、通称 CR。バグスターに対抗するために作られた極秘部署よ。緊急通報。早く変身して患者を助けないと。まだレベルアップしちゃダメ。バグスターと患者を分離させるのはレベル1じゃなきゃできないの。さすが天才ゲーマー、詳しいね。もしかしてゲーム病？大変だよ。部外者はここまで。急いで早くしないと。その目で確かめて、あなたを治療するために彼らが命がけのゲームをやってるってこと。コスチュームチェンジ。
And then for her last phrase, she says costume change, which is what she says whenever she changes from Asuna into Poppy. Then for the next character,
鏡ヒーローだ。
you have Hiro Kagami, who transforms into Kamen Rider Brave.
ゲームじゃない。これはオペだ。俺に切れないものはない。
This one is his catchphrase, there's nothing I cannot cut.
お前の存在はノーサンキューだ。これよりバグスター切除手術を開始する。ゲーマードライバー、ライダーガシャット。患者には関わらない。それが俺の主義だ。研修医が図に乗るな。ドクターなる者、いかなる時も冷静でなければ何者にも乗っ取られず使命を成し遂げる意志の強さ。これより幽門輪温存、水筒十二指腸切除術、もっさき叶うのならもう一度君に。ゲームじゃない。これはオペだ。
That's another one of his phrases, important one. This is not a game, this is an operation.
俺に切れないものはない。
Okay, and I'll get back to the one that I accidentally skipped over.
お前の存在、これよりバグスター、ゲーマードライバー、患者には関わらない。それが俺の主義だ。研修医が図に乗るな。ドクターなる者、いかなる時も冷静でなければ何者にも乗っ取られず使命を成し遂げる意志の強い。これより幽門輪温存、水筒十二指腸切除術、門脈合併切除術を開始する。メス。
Okay, then we can move on to the next character,
花や大河だ。
which is Taiga Hanaya, who transforms into Kamen Rider Snipe.
だ。面白くなりそうだ。お医者さんごっこなんてやめてゲームを楽しもうぜ。診察希望か。誰の紹介だ。お前の主治医は俺だ。お前のガシャットをよこせ。いいからガシャットをよこせ。ミッション開始。
And here we have his catchphrase, Mission Start.
この会社セキュリティ見直した方がいいんじゃねえか。一人で十分なんだ。この俺一人で。俺には失うものは何もない。だから言ってんだ。仮面ライダーは俺一人で十分だってな。これはただのゲームじゃない。俺たちは遊びでやってるんじゃねえんだよ。だ。面白くなりそうだ。
Okay, then we can move on to the next character,
自分九条キリア。
which is Kirya Kujo, who transforms into Kamen Rider Laser.
このレース乗らない手はない。どいつもこいつも乗ってるね。もしかして乗せられちゃった？少しは人を疑え。じゃなきゃ意外なところで足元すくわれるかもよ。自分と友達になってくれるか。乗れ名人。
And that's a good phrase of his, which is, Get on, Master, which is a phrase he says to Emu.
真実を伝えることが正しいとは限らない。真実が人の人生を狂わせることだってあるんだよ。おい、患者を救いたいなら信じろ。今日の自分に嘘はない。あんたに乗るぜ。あいつを倒すために名人を M を信じる。聞いちゃったぜ。あんな話やこんな話。
忘れんなよ。お前が笑顔でいる限り、お前はお前だ。お前の運命は、お前が変えろ。M、この世界の人類の運命は任せたぜ。このレース、乗らない手はない。
Now, for those last few phrases, those get into a little bit of a touchy subject, mainly because it's a bit of spoilers for those who haven't seen some of the early episodes. Moving on to the next character.
ゲームコーポレーション CEO、ダン・クロトだ。
You have the last of them, which is Kuroto Dan, who transforms into Kamen Genmu.
由々しき事態だ。ドクター諸君、すぐに私の会社まで来てくれ。恐ろしいのは、私自身の才能さ。すべては、究極のゲームを作るため。完成した。すべては計画通り。
That one's a pretty key phrase for him, which is, everything is going according to plan.
北条 M、君の心の水晶は砕けず、輝き続けることができるかな。揃えた10個のガシャットで、人々を救うことができるか。君は知りすぎた。違うんだよ。このガシャットはこうやって使うんだよ。誰にも邪魔はさせない。すべてのバグスターを揃え、仮面ライダークロニクルを完成させるんだ。北条 M！ 由々しき事態だ。ドクター諸君、すぐに私の会社まで来てくれ。
Then, pressing the button one more time,
北条 M です。
loops back to Emu. And there we go. So overall, while it is cool that this was made into replica form, I'd say I'd really only recommend this to hardcore fans of the series or people who want to cosplay as one of the Doctor Riders in civilian form. Functionality-wise, it really doesn't do too much as far as replicating the actual functions it has in the show, being that the only really means of replicating those functions that it has is the call sound, which you get by switching on, and then the scanning feature, which only has one projection, whereas in the show there are various symbols for different bugs or viruses, and it's a static image instead of what you see in the show, which is the icon actually bouncing around. Though obviously it probably would have taken a lot more to project an animation rather than a static image. And besides that, you just get the character phrases, which don't really matter too much if you can't really understand them. So, like I said, this really only is recommended to the two types of people that I mentioned earlier. Now, next time, normally it would be another episode of Tokyo Toy Theory, but I just got in some new stuff, and there are 3 items that I want to basically strike while the iron is hot on. Which is to say, I'm going to review those 3, then do another episode of Tokyo Toy Theory, then get back to my normal kind of routine, where I do 2 reviews, then a Tokyo Toy Theory. So, with that being said, next time I'm going to be reviewing the deluxe Ho-Oh Blade and Ho-Oh Shield. So, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and if you're new and would like to see more, please subscribe. And for now, this is KRX50, writing off.